Evans, it's nice to have you join us on the news.
Very well. Good afternoon.
You're welcome. So let's start this way. Do you actually agree with the court ruling that the suspension of Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan was too weighty for whatever crime the Senate felt she had committed?
Yes. 6 months is a very long time. How many days will it sit for you to suspend a senator of the Federal Republic for 6 months? When you put everything together, you'll find out that it's too much. Okay, that's about 90. That's about 180 days. Out of how many days do they really sit? So it's actually very excessive, and I agree with your lordship, Justice Binta Nyako, to the fact that that punishment or reprimand is harsh because it will deprive a constituency of representation. And democracy strives on inclusivity. So any part that is set out because of whatsoever punishment is disallowed, to have representation is unfair to the people of that constituency. So I think the judgment is in order to that effect. Then as to the one that has to do with the contempt Fashe Korea, that is the contempt she committed outside the court by making a satirical apologies to that parties should maintain the status quo. Okay, that was not good. Okay, so the courts have fined her $5 million to that effect, and have asked her to apologize in 2 national dailies, and including her Facebook page. Okay, that is by the other end of the judgment.
Okay, but the Senate, Evans, the Senate invoked the Senate Standing Rules in Section 14 of the Legislative House's Powers and Privileges Act to have her suspended. And one would have thought that the highest legislative house in a country would have the prerogative to decide what kind of disciplinary measures would be deemed fit for such an action on the floor of the Senate.
Yeah, that's what the court said. The respective provision of the Senate Standing Rule did not specify how long a person should be kept away from legislative business by virtue of reprimand or punishment or penalty. So you can't just leave it open like that and then make. That is why the court said that those sections of the law are inappropriate. They're inappropriate because it's overreaching. Overreaching in the sense that the law that gave the senator a mandate for representation of his constituency is the Constitution. Meanwhile, the law that was made in the House to punish wrongdoing is within the Senate. And so the Constitution overrides the Senate rule. Okay, because the Constitution says that if any law is inconsistent with the provision of this Constitution shall prevail, and that other law to the extent of this inconsistency shall be void. So that law needs to be amended, okay, to stretch out what amounts to punishment and how long can a senator be put under penalty in terms of suspension. Okay, it cannot be open-ended like that, and that is exactly what the court have ruled on. Okay. So it's left for the National Assembly to go back to their rules and make the necessary amendment.
All right, so the senator actually leveled a series of allegations against the Senate president, including the case of sexual harassment. And one would have thought that this would take precedence over any other disciplinary issue or litigation case.
Yeah, I think the judgment was rightly targeted on just resolving the issue under reference. As to the allegations itself, I do not know why the court didn't go that direction. But the judgment given so far are taking care of some of the issues. I think because there are other cases still pending in other courts. Okay? This one has taken care of some of the issue of suspension. That's taking care of the issue of contempt. That's taking care of the issue of, okay, those two issues have been taken care of. Right now, there are still other matters in other court that will take care of the other part of it. And I think at the end of the day, now the Senate must reinstate her immediately based on the court judgment. And she must also comply with the judgment of the court that says she must apologize to national dailies and on her Facebook page and all that.
Okay.
Both sides have the order of the court is on both sides to comply with.
And just as you rightly said, the senator is also facing two separate cases of cybercrime and defamation in two separate courts. Do you think she should have, probably maintained decorum after making those allegations, and these cases might further probably dent her chances of getting justice?
Well, I can't hear you. I mean, you're very low now. I can't hear you.
Okay, so I said that she has two other pending cases in court, cybercrime, defamation in two separate courts. And people are saying that probably she should have maintained some sort of decorum so that she would not lose her chances of eventually getting justice, if she would eventually get that, of course, owing to the other allegations that she has made.
Yes, she has to be careful. I'm surprised that her conduct sometimes. As a trained lawyer, she ought to know that when a matter is in court, you have to maintain the status quo, even if there's no order of court to that effect. Once a matter is filed in court, it means you have surrendered to the jurisdiction of the court. And anything you do thereafter on that case amounts to self-help. Okay? So when she goes around and they make statements, call people and they record her and start to embarrass her and the rest of that, it gives me a lot of concern about her conduct and during the pendency of the case. You are taking a case to court. The case that are going to court, you don't need to make any comments, call anybody, mock anybody, or go do any satirical whatever on your Facebook page or whatsoever like that. That's what non-lawyers do. That is what laymen will do. But for a lawyer, she shouldn't be doing that. And I think that her lawyer should guide her carefully on the issue. She should not be doing that because you are making mockery of the entire system when you have submitted the jurisdiction of the court and you are saying acting is self-help. And it's not allowed and encouraged under our judicial system. So I think that she should take caution and maintain the status quo, stay calm and allow the court to look at this case. The court is capable of handling this case. And so far, so good, the court is doing very well in the process. And so parties must maintain the status quo and allow the court to take decisions.
Okay. Ivan Tufeli, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us on the news.